And we're live. Hey everyone, this is Kristen Fagan with Softlex Company back for another presentation for Customer Appreciation Week. And today I'm here with Joyce from Just Beaded.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here with doing this today.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. It's been so nice. I mean, we have just been like going all week. And I don't know how you are when you get like creatively excited, but I couldn't sleep last night.
I know. I keep going, and I have unfortunately missed some of the lives, but I'm like replaying in the background, and I'm like, oh, I'm just so excited to yeah, everybody's sharing their creativity, and it's so fun. I love it,
It's
and I love
so
seeing all the
fun,
posts and that people are doing their projects, and oh, I love it.
and
Love it.
I was totally wiped. I mean, I'm totally wiped out. We've been doing so much because, of course, I'm doing all of my normal things on top of it this week.
Yes.
But of course, when I went to go lay down last night, it was like, oh, this idea and that idea and this, and I ended up having to get up out of bed and open up my kit that we're going to be doing later today and start beading at like 2 a.m. because I was like, I'm just not calming it down. So I might as well get
Yeah.
up and do something. And then after about a half hour, I was finally like, okay, I'm beat.
Yeah, you just got to get a
Just a
little
little
bit of
more.
it because you're just
It's
going to
that
roll,
like,
toss and turn if you don't at least do something, even if it's just laying it out and being
right?
ready
Yeah,
for
just
the
like
morning.
opening it up and looking at
Hmm.
it and just something to just like finally just get things going. But it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by Maya Angelou, and I'm probably not going to say it right, but I'll paraphrase. And she says, you can't use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you have. And it's
Oh
so
my gosh.
it's so
That is,
true. So because we've just been so creative this week that it's like more ideas are just bubbling
yes,
up and bubbling up.
yes, absolutely.
All
Oh, I
right.
love it. It's so true.
So we
So
have a
true.
lot of friends joining us here
Oh, yeah.
today. Yeah, Sarah says, we fired you up. You totally
Yeah.
have. I'm exhausted today. I'm like, woo, what did I do?
It's
uh,
like creativity running through you. It's like so energizing yet tiring.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of friends joining us. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
If you missed in the beginning, I am here with Joyce from Just Beat It. And I am going to let you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your shop. I know that you are a labor of love, be with you and your sister. And I think that's
Yes.
fantastic. And I also
Yes.
know that you were a brick and mortar store for a long time and you've had to do some transitions with
Oh,
the
yes. We've
pandemic.
had to do some
So,
transitions for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, so I mean, my beaded session started in the mid 90s, late 90s. In fact, only like maybe a year or two into and I say obsession, you dabble and then you become obsessed.
Right,
And
right.
so I
You jumped
dabbled
over that line.
over that line. For because of some dear friends, they invited me over, and I went, "Oh my gosh, this is the end." And I have to say, I was so thankful because I loved listening on Monday about like some of the history of how long and stuff. And I'm going, wow, I really was just a few years into your history that I started using Softflakes. Like as soon as I found it, I was like, this is the best stuff. And I've been using
Oh,
it since. And then we opened our shop here in Concord, California. In 2003, and we started out with just it was my dad and I and my mom and my sister still kind of like commuted to work. My dad started it with me, and then he ended up going back to work too. And then we've changed people who were at the store, and then around 2006 we all got to like really work together, so that was really fun. And so, yeah,
oh, that's
crossed over that dark
wonderful.
side for sure.
So it's really been
And
a labor of love within the family. That's
yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So we've been doing, but then last year we kind of and we were really truly a brick and mortar. That was it. We barely had anything online because we just really put all our energy in our brick and mortar. And when we were kind of forced to shelter in place for a little bit, we're like, how are we going to get our beading friends that were just like waiting for these different classes that we can't do? And so we started the Facebook Live. And then as things progressed and we had to make some really super hard choices, we had to close that brick and mortar and go solely online. But we've been doing Facebook Lives on Saturdays at 2:00 on our Facebook page. And we have a Facebook group too that we share on there. And
what's the name of your Facebook group?
Just Beaded Happy Beaders.
Oh, that's great. Just Beaded Happy Beaders. And then what's your Facebook page?
It's Just Beaded, but you got to make sure you find the Concord one.
Yeah, because
there's other Just Beaded in the world.
I've seen others, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to make sure you get the Just Beaded that's in Concord, California. And we do, and we do those every Saturday, or almost every Saturday. We had one Saturday off this month because we were on vacation right before this.
Choice.
I know. Well, we were gone for 2 weeks, and we actually did one on the road in a park in Bend, Oregon.
Oh, yes. You were dedicated.
It was nuts, but it was so fun. This is how dedicated we are to this.
Yes,
so, we love it. We love it. But and we do a lot of fun projects. I've been beading, doing all sorts of different kinds of beading, from stringing, wiring, bead weaving. I actually solder, and my dad makes lampwork beads, or he did. He's taken a break, but we're trying to get him to do it again. So like we've been just so many different things, but we've been doing a lot more stringing and wire work. And so now it's just really me and my sister. And then we have a friend, Christine, that we rope in every once in a while to get her to help us whatever we need extra help. And
well, I guess you touched upon one of my questions was going to be, because I don't know Just Bead It as well. I know Sarah has been into your brick and mortar shop, and she knows you really well. And like you said, you've been using Softlex and carrying it since almost the beginning, which is going on, which is about 30 years. We're guessing 30 years. Just not quite sure to pinpoint that date, which is amazing, and we thank you.
Yes.
And I was wondering, do you have a specialty? But it sounds like you do a whole lot of things.
I don't have a specialty. I love everything.
I love it. That's how I am
into it. And I'm going to learn, but it always makes me happy just to string up some pretties,
Right. I mean, that's the basics of it, right? It's like it all starts with the stringing, and then we take all these fanciful little adventures from there, but it always comes back.
Right back to it. Back to it.
So we've got a lot of friends in here for you.
Oh, yes.
She lives for your Saturday beading sessions, and Barb says she looks forward to Saturdays with Joyce and April, and so many people chiming in about your passion. And Sarah says, welcome. We are just learning more about Just Bead It. I guess a few people have said, what are we doing?
What are we doing? We're chatting.
A woman after, Marisol says, a woman after my own heart loves everything. Yeah. Just wants to get into it all. And that is really, it's always an adventure. And there's, you can't get bored in that way, right?
No, I think that's what beading, there's so many aspects to it. I think that's why everybody can bead. Like there's something, if you don't like that one technique, there's another technique you're going to find that you're going to love. And it's just like anyone can find something. I mean, I've had, people with different abilities that, find their passion in it, and they make amazing stuff, and it's just so exciting, and it's always something new because of that.
It's true. It is a really accessible craft, and like you said, a lot of the techniques that we share and that you share, we're sharing the basis of the technique, but you can change the beads, you can change the pattern, you can change so many different things about it to make it your own, and that's just so much fun.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh, wow. So Janelda says she ordered her kit today. She ordered her kit for today on Monday, and she still received it in time. So that's
that is
fantastic.
amazing. That's so awesome. That is really super awesome.
Speaking of your kit, so we're gonna do a mermaid sun catcher today, which is just
we
gorgeous.
are.
And we're gonna also do some beaded beads. I think we'll do the beaded bead first. Is that right?
Yes, we're gonna make the beaded bead first, and then we'll.
Do you have kits still available?
We do have a few. We have 3 colorways in the full kit, and we also have 3 colorways in the beaded bead kits still available.
So you can get just the kit for the bead if you just want to have just the beaded bead portion, or you can get the full sun catcher. There's 3 colors and there's a few available for each.
Yes.
And I know that you are on Etsy, right? So if you
we are on Etsy. If you got that lovely link right there. If you forget the link or you don't have the link, it's just Bead It Conquered, all one word is our shop name. So it's kind of easy to find that way.
Wonderful. So awesome. All right. So Joyce, if you want to turn down your table, we can take a look at these gorgeous kits.
Let's this over. Move this over.
You over into our main screen here. The magical sparkle maker.
Right there. We're gonna.
Look at you zooming in. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we're gonna make these are the 3 kits that I still have left. The 3 colorways. So we have this gold, the pink and gold, and then our violet aqua.
Beautiful. And she's got some very special pieces at the bottom. They're all different.
Yeah. Vintage. We correspond them with the colorways, and each has their own beaded bead. And then these are the 3 beaded beads that we have left in our colorways. We are looking into getting a few more. So if there's one that you saw, message us and we can see if we're able to get those beads. I think Coral Reef was a very popular one, and I think we found a little bit more to make a few. So that is what we're going to make today.
Marisol said, "Hold on, I just dropped my jaw."
Spectacular, aren't they?
They are spectacular. And I could imagine that those beaded beads will be really popular, just the little beaded bead kit, because you can use them in so many different designs. And
oh, absolutely. I have one that I'm going to turn into a necklace with a tassel. And then, I liked Sarah's idea on Monday. She mentioned they make really cool earrings. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to make a pair of earrings.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right, I'll let you get started, and I'll just
we
chime
did
in
with our kits. Just to let you know, we do have written instructions also that come with the kits. So if you did end up getting a kit, you'll get that as a reference, which will be nice, and it also has the material list of what we used. We are going to be using this. Now, some of the kits have a 18 millimeter bead, and then we had a hard time sourcing those again. So we got these 20s, and the 20s work really well also. That's what I'm using today, and that's what these beaded beads are on here with. And it is you want a large hole bead, because we're going to be going through it quite a few times. And we're using, we're going to go over here, ginkgo, 2-hole ginkgo beads.
I love that shape. I haven't played with that shape before.
It is such a pretty, I love these. I mean, it looks so petal-like, but it also looks like mermaid scales, So we had to put them in our beaded bead because we had these beautiful mermaids that we wanted to put in the sun catcher.
Yeah, those are so pretty. What are those made out of, those mermaids?
They are check glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're stunning.
They are, aren't they? I fell in love. I just like, what? There's mermaids. We need those. Can we get every color? Sadly, no, but maybe someday I'll collect them all.
Right.
And then 6 millimeter fire polish, size 6 seed beads, and size 11 seed beads. Those are what's going to be in the beaded bead part that we're going right now, is those 5 items. And if you got a kit for this whole piece, they would be in a separate bag. And if you, of course, if it was just the beaded bead portion, it's all on its own too. Then we are using, for the beaded bead, we're using Soft Flex Very Fine. And we're going to use 3 feet.
And it looks like you're using Soft Touch on this one.
Oh,
right?
yes, Soft Touch. Yes, Soft
Which we
Touch
do have
Very Fine.
Yeah, and we only have the Very Fine in Soft Touch. And Soft Touch, if you guys have never used it before, is one of our premium stringing products, and it's like 50% softer and more flexible. So it feels closer to a thread.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I love the durability of this for this kind of project. So got 3 feet. 3 feet is a little overkill in a way, but it's better to have a little more than a little less, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about that quite a bit this week. It's like give yourself a little more, especially when you're doing something for the first time. It's just nice to have a little extra.
Yeah, and you know, you and Sarah do wonderful things with those little odds and ends, and which I also do. You know, you can make little charms and earrings off of those. Save those little pieces. If it's over 2 inches, you can make something with it. Right?
Yeah, I definitely save as many as I can. Sometimes if it's just too small, I go, all right, I'll have to.
Of course, you gotta. But you know, I need some cute little dangles off of
I'm sure.
With 2, you know, just a 2 inches. All right, let's move this just a little bit.
So for those of you that worry about wasting your materials, you can always clip it off and at the end and put it in a little baggie and save it for something else.
So I just put this down like you're just leaving a tail that you're going to be able to tie a knot later with. So it doesn't have to be too big. I have probably maybe about 4 inches. You can go up to about 6 inches if you want. I'm sliding on my big bead to start with. Now these ginkgos that we're using, these ginkgo leaf beads, they have 2 holes, and if you have an awl, it's really good to kind of check your holes because sometimes they get clogged. So we're going to use these 2 at a time for each little section. So I'm going to just check those real quick and make sure that those are good. And good check it. And you really want to make sure you go through, and you can use your wire too, but I like the awl just because if there was a little bit of a little piece of the glass sometimes gets stuck from it, and you just kind of like can poke it out. Occasionally they're super clogged and you can't. There are a couple extra in this kit so that if one's clogged, you'll be able to you'll have enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with 2-hole beads, I find that it's a little more common that something might be in there. So checking before you get going is always nice.
Yes, because you'll go through the first hole and no problem, and then you get over to the second hole and it's like, oh,
Mayday.
Yeah. So I'm laying out my beads. This is the first step that we're going to do. And now I have, if you look at this, we have in our little ginkgo, I have the curves on the outside on this one and the curve on the outside on the second one. That is so that they kind of meet together and form the little pattern nicely. And I am putting a 15, a size 6 seed bead, a 15, and then the 6 millimeter fire polish, an 11, a 6, an 11, and then I'm going to have my second ginkgo. So the first, and for most of these, it really doesn't matter which hole you go into, but there are some that are called backlit. So if you have a color that is like shiny on one side, like colorful on one side, and the back is silver. Sorry, I forgot what color it was. Normally the backlit ones are silver on the back and then they're colorful on the front. You're going to want to make sure that you line them up and make sure you go through the same hole so that they look right. So I'm going to just kind of pretend I have that. So I'm going to go through the left hole on the curve side. Whoops.
That's a good tip. Because, yeah, I know sometimes they have the two tones on two different sides.
Yeah.
So you just want to be thoughtful of paying attention to that.
Then I'm just going to add on my beads. And like even I flip them off. So you just got to re-put them on. And get those 11, the 6, the fire polish, the 6, the 11, the fire polish, the 11, the 6, the 11, and then the second one. So the second one, since the first one I went through the left hole from the curve side, the second one I'm going to go from the inside of the ginkgo leaf on the left one. That way they will be the same. Now they're going to flip until we use the second hole, but at least I know, like if I had the back lip, they'll be in the right spot. You can let that just slide down or to your bead, the large bead, and then you're going to go from the tail side back through the large bead and loop that around, and that's going to be your first section right there. Now it doesn't come, I'm just going to like word for the wise, don't worry if some of it shows. If you actually try to put beads all the way up to the hole, it makes making beaded beads kind of hard. And as you can see, it does show the wire there, but when you make it into your piece, we're going to cover that up with a rondelle. So you can use a bead cap or a larger bead right there. So it covers that up so you don't have to worry about the wire showing at all. But it does make it
that finishes off really nicely. And that's a good tip because I'm sure when people are making it, they may want the ability to add more beads to get all the way up to the top, but you're going to have.
But then it makes it hard to add more little sections around. So that's why we have it loose like that. And they'll work out. So once I've gone through the beaded bead, we're going to go through the second hole of the first ginkgo that I added. And that will join those together. And now we are going to add a size 11, a size 6, and then a size 11. Just those 3 beads. We got those 3 beads, and then we're going to go through just the fire polish here. We're going to just go right through that fire polish, and hopefully just the fire polish. Try not to get those seed beads. They want to jump on. They want to party too, but we got to tell them they're not part of that party.
Stay in your own lane with these seed beads.
Exactly. And so that got the little 2 sections there. And now we're going to make another section here for the other hole of the ginkgo. So it's another 11, 6, 11. Get those on there. And we're going to go through the second hole of the ginkgo. Grab hold of that. Once I've gone through the second hole of the ginkgo, now it gets a little loose at first and you can readjust, like you could try to get it all the way back down. I just sometimes just readjust the bead stopper. And then once I've done this first whole section, it's going to stay in place and I won't have to worry about it. But I'm going to pull this down so it's nice and snug next to the bead, the large bead, and then go back through the large whole bead again. So I'm coming up from the top. And that makes one complete little section.
Getting a few very pretties. Love this idea coming through. And
oh, thank you.
I just wanted to say I was trying to do one on my side, but I don't have any of those fun ginkgo beads.
We're going to have to fix that for you.
I have some other 2-hole beads, but I just figured, oh, I'll just try regular beads at the moment. But I am noticing quickly how those 2-hole beads, because of their size, they stop those smaller ones from ducking inside the center of the hole.
Oh, so yeah, really yes. You do need something a little bit larger.
Yeah, so those are that's a great design style right there. It keeps those beads from trying to duck inside.
Yeah, gem duos and super duos should work pretty well with these too. You might have to change your count, like maybe add a couple more seed beads because they're like super duos or thinner, but that would be really pretty around.
Good plan.
All right, now that we have one, we're going to do a whole nother one again. So gonna get my ginkgo out, my 11, my 6, my 11, a fire polish. So the first time you had to put one whole set of everything. A size 6, size 11, and another ginkgo. And get your ginkgos in place. Oh, check those holes. Check those holes.
Yes. So speaking of the ginkgos, is that a style of bead that you sell in your shop?
Yes, we do have some on our Etsy. We are adding more, and we are actually in the works of another website that will have expanded beads on it, expanded inventory, and it will definitely have a very large selection of the ginkgos, where it's going to have all the 2-hole beads, seed beads, and fire polish and check beads, like that, those kind of items on that. So we are in the works. We were hoping to be able to launch it today to share with you in time for this, but keep an eye. That website, it is jbibeads.com, and it's not loaded yet, but it's coming. But we do have some on our Etsy
for that. You must be close if you thought you might have launched.
Oh, we are so close. So. We really thought we could do it, but we're you always have those little funny glitches, like
yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah, like why isn't the price is showing? Why isn't the color showing? Oh, it's not lined up right. Okay, so sorry. We tried.
Always takes longer than expected, and lots of random things pop up in the process.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna, after I've put all those beads, I'm just going back or looping around through my large hole bead again. At this point, if your bead stopper is getting in the way, because it's really easy to kind of, catch it on the very fine, you could, if you wanted to, take it off, because it should stay pretty well. But I usually kind of wait until the third one. I don't know. I have this thing about 3. It doesn't matter if you end up on the right or the left of your bead. If I was really to try to match it to what I did, I would have this going on the other side so that I'm in the same position, so that I'm coming out of the side, and now I can work on the right hand side, so it makes it a little easier to follow. But if you landed on the left, it's okay. It still works. As long as your ginkgos are facing the right way, it works. So making sure I go through the second hole of my ginkgo. And now it's just the little seed bead section. So it's 11, 6, 11. and go through just the fire polish. Boop. And do another one of those. 11, 6, 11. Now, depending if you're doing a size 8, this 18, or if you're doing the 20, you're going to do 5 to 6 repeats. In fact, I even did just 5 on the 20, even though it's bigger, and it works really well. So I got that the 11, 6, 11, and went through the ginkgo. Make sure you go through your large hole bead. So you're coming back out on the other side, ready to do another one. So this one here is this is the 20 millimeter, and I did 6 repeats. As you can see from the top here, you can count the 6 little sections, and it's really full and it's really pretty that way. This one is, I just did the 5, makes it more open. So if you wanted more of the large hole bead to show, then you know, which was really pretty with this one, with it showing a little more. They will move a teeny bit, like when it's on its own like this, but when you string it up into a piece, you're going to have your bead cap or your larger bead that's on either side here, and that will just kind of keep them all in place and they won't really move. So I've done it both ways, so you can kind of feel there's enough beads in our kit with both of them actually to do this whole 6 if you wanted to, or you could just do the 5. I'm going to be doing the 5 today, so that we can
Thanks for those variations and different options of doing a little bit tighter, a little bit looser. That's great, or more open, I should say. Sarah is saying, I can see these on a beaded garland for the holidays.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, Sarah. In fact, my friend Sandra thought they would look really cute as little mini ornaments on a little mini tree, because she just has a little mini tree in her house. And I'm like, oh, those are so cute that way.
Yes, that's perfect. I think someone else said ornaments here too. Oh, they are talking about brown and orange combo for the fireplace mantle on Thanksgiving, and red and gold for Christmas, and blue and silver gold for Hanukkah.
Absolutely. These are so like so easy to do. They look way more intricate than they are, you know, as far as like how they're made. The possibilities are endless, and you start exploring with different kinds of beads. It's fun, a lot of fun.
I always like projects like that look really difficult, but in reality, we're not. Yeah. Nobody needs to know our little secret.
Yeah, no. I don't mind sharing with you though.
Right. Yeah.
And then up through, they were on the 3rd one. Ooh, I'm going to take off my bead stopper because I'm starting to get a little caught on it. I love them, but they do, when you're doing this kind of thing, they get so caught up.
Yeah, they're good starters and just kind of an extra hand in the beginning.
Yep.
We do have little mini ones too. Have you ever tried the mini ones?
I love the mini ones. In fact, usually I use the mini ones on the very fine, and I use it with thread a lot. Yeah, I do have them. I just don't know what I did with my minis.
They're just too tiny. they disappeared.
Yeah. Well, they might be on a project.
Oh, yeah. That's why you think, oh, why do I need more bead stoppers? I already have a bunch. Well, because you can start things and then kind of let them sit in limbo while you start other things.
Especially when you have to wake up at 2 a.m. and start a project, right?
What was that all about? I was like, I cannot believe I'm even getting out of bed right now, but I was clearly tossing and turning for too long. So
yeah. Now, with this kind of a project, when it's such a repeat, even though I know what the pattern is, even though it's so easy. In fact, I think our pink sample actually, a pink and gold sample actually has missing seed beads because we did it so fast. So even though I know the pattern, even though it's repeating, I still like to lay them out because then I can, then I can do the chatting while I'm doing it or listening to the TV or whatever and not accidentally leave a bead out that I wanted
Right.
in there.
Sometimes it's a happy accident. Sarah just did that
Yeah.
recently. I think
Oh, yeah,
last week
that
she
turned
was
out
on a
great.
video and totally spaced on a few beats, but it turned out to be a happy accident. But
Hmm.
other times, no, you just got to go all the way back and start over, and that's not fun.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And with this, like missing seed beads and not noticing it until you're like the next one over. I mean, this is pretty easy to pull out, but who wants to do that?
You never want to do it. I know. It's so true. Mary is sitting and watching and reaming all her ginkgos. And
Oh,
Sarah's
good.
saying this is a great beginner pattern for seed beading. So yeah, this is a
Yeah.
nice way to kind of dip your toes in.
Yeah. Yeah. We always like to try to find because I know people are interested, but it seems so intimidating. And what a lot of people don't realize is once you get the repeat, like once you understand what the repeat is, most bead weaving isn't that bad because I mean they were meant to be what they did in the people it started because they were doing it in the evening, or in between things, and they didn't need to concentrate too much, but you have to learn it first. And so we're always looking for projects that are kind of fun and a little bit easier so it feels but like has a great design so it feels like you're doing more than you are.
Right. I will say that I've always been a little intimidated about the patterning, and because I've never been one to, do sewing or quilting or things like that are also very pattern based. So I think that pattern kind of feels a little scary at first until you just
Yeah.
get a hold of it, and something like this is a nice, easy way to get started.
Yep. And having the different kinds of beads really kind of helps make it happy, because then you're changing it up. Or feels like you're changing it up because you're adding different beads. It's
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
different
fun.
shapes kind of fit in nicely and,
Hmm.
work together really well.
Check those holes. Okay, so I'm only going to do 5. You could definitely do 6 if you have the larger. If you have the shorter or the smaller one in your kit, then you'll like the 18 millimeter. You're probably only going to be able to do the 5, and then you can kind of choose whether you want to do 5 or 6 if you have the 20 millimeter. I'm on my last one here, and when I go to do it, we're going to kind of end it slightly different. So if you've gotten ahead of me, or it's not that much different, we're just not going to go through the bead one more time because we got to end the piece. So,
So
but
just
this
take a
for
little peek up, take a little break, and pay
yeah,
attention.
yeah, yeah. So this part is the same where I just added the whole little section around just like I did. The next part is the same. I'm going to go into my ginkgo. And then I'm going to add my 11, 6, 11, and then go into my fire polish. Kind of get that a little tighter down. And then I'm going to do my 11, 6, oh, maybe. You got to fling a few seed beads across. It's normal to fling them across. That's you giving it to the bead goddess so that it all works out great, right? A little sacrifice to the bead goddess.
Right. It's
So
like a
I'm going
little
to go,
salt over your shoulder. You got to do it.
yeah. Go through the second hole of this ginkgo, and then this time, instead of going back through the large hole bead again, the middle bead, we are going to take these two ends and tie them together. And it's, quite easy. I'm gonna do kind of you could just do a whole bunch of square knots. You could do, I kind of do a combination of things because that's just my wackiness. So I'm just going to do, like, I'm starting a surgeon's knot, or going to do a surgeon's knot for the first two. So I'm going to do the half knot where you cross over, go through, bring it. You want to kind of pull this one pretty tight. It's okay if it's not quite near the hole. We're going to end up aiming to get it inside that large hole bead. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But if it's like kind of, sometimes this knot likes to land closer to the ginkgo, but it's still, there's a little bit of room for movement on the knot to get it into the hole. So it's not too bad. So then when I go to cross these over and go through, I'm actually going to go through twice, but you don't have to. It's just like, I don't know. I like the surgeon's knot for things. So I tend to do that often. And so I'm just going to get that one nice and tight. And then I usually like to do one or two more half knots just on top of that. And I'm just
so when you say a half knot, is that sort of you're just going the one time, whereas the surgeon's is the twice?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just crossing over, going through. That's a half of your knot, and the surgeon's is wearing it like twice. And I only, for whatever reason, I only do the surgeon's on that second one, and then I do the rest of them. I just do the half knots. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what Joyce does.
Right.
Now, if you wanted to, you could add a little glue. I wouldn't do it right this second because you're going to want to do it right before you get it into, or right when it gets into the hole. Because if you get it, you might end up keeping it over here on the side. Granted, you put in that bead cap or in that rondelle on there, it covers it. So it really doesn't matter. But,
just for
our
good,
brains,
good practice. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just putting both of these, and I pull these pretty tight. I like to, when only one's through, I like to pull these nice and tight. Sometimes I'll grab my pliers and like my hands feel slippery, like right now. I like to take my pliers and hold them with, hold the ends with my pliers because they'll grip better. I don't have my two chain nose pliers for some reason. So let's see if I can do it with the edge of this, kind of. And sometimes I'll do that, but then I'm going to now take the short end also up through, I'm not in the camera, up through that too, so that both of them are coming out this other side. Nope, missed it. It goes through, I promise. We've done this on all of them. Just being camera shy. There we go. Cool. And then we're going to just pull that really nice and tight. And as you saw, or you didn't see, I felt it when yeah, you didn't see it because I was way over here. Okay. When I just held on to the bead and pulled both of them together, and it just popped right inside.
Oh, so you're not
see it right inside. That's the great thing about these really large hole beads. They just go right in there. No big deal.
So I do have a question. So you said you do the surgeon knot the second time. So you do the half knot first, and then how many more knots did you do? I don't know if I
did two other ones on top of that. Yeah,
so
So it was like a half, and then a surgeon, and then two halves.
Okay, thank you.
And if you wanted glue before you did the pull of both of them to get that in there, you would put that little dab of glue on there, and then. But do keep in mind, if some of the glues will clog that hole, and it will make it hard to string later. So that's why I don't do it.
And really, if you're pulling it tight and it pops in there, that bead is going to protect your knot. So it's not like rubbing up and down. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So I just cut it up really nice and close. And oh, how did I get upside down?
Yeah. Are you? I don't. Are you sure? Oh, your hands are upside down now.
Do that. Let's see.
That's funny.
I don't know what I did. Let's see if I can get it.
Oh, there you go. Now you're,
okay.
I think you're back right way again.
Oh, okay. Yay. Okay. So, okay. Who knows?
You're playing magic tricks on us, Joyce.
Absolutely. That's what beading is. It's magic with pretty things.
Right. That is fantastic. Oh, so much fun. Oh, Sandra is asking, what is your favorite beading needle? Now, I know you said with this, you didn't use one because...
Yeah, we actually didn't have to use one with this because it's the soft flex. But with the very fine, if you do, you could definitely do this with beading, like if you're using any kind of beading thread, and you can use and make them also. I really love the Tulip Needles. That brand is a little more expensive, but they last so much longer. And the way they're made, the eye of the needle doesn't collapse easy. So if you're getting into tight places, it will stay open. It makes it a lot easier to thread. And most of the time I use a size 11 beading needle whenever possible, because it's that middle size. 12s I tend to break more often, and 10s sometimes get a little bit too thick to go through. The needles are the same as wire, where the larger the number, the thinner it is.
Oh, gotcha. Good information. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So Tulip and John James, those are the two brands that I usually prefer.
Janelda says, this is so much fun. I'm glad I ordered this kit. And that just made me think, that's fantastic, Janelda. I'm glad you ordered it too. But it made me think, how many of us are out there trying to do these beaded beads for the first time? And this is by having this kit, we're kind of going through this together and learning how to make a beaded bead for the very first time. I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Yeah. I think I'm doing pretty good. I just have to knot it up. I used some beads I had in my stash, but this was super fun to give this a try.
Yay. Yes.
Stacy says it's her very first time. Yay.
Oh, that's exciting. Welcome to the beaded bead world. You get really, really fine. If you want to get into bead weaving with a needle and thread, there's so many wonderful patterns out there to do beaded beads, but these are so fun because just looping around, as long as you have a large enough bead with a large enough hole, you can just loop around. You can add so many different kinds of things on them. One year we did it around a wood bead, and we did made little jack-o'-lanterns, made with sea beads. So I mean, you could really just change up lots of different things with them. So
fabulous! What a great idea! Thank you for sharing this technique with all of us.
You're welcome.
Says it's her first time. Also, she's loving the project. Terry says that it looks so elegant.
Thank you.
And now you can be proud of not just the jewelry you're creating, but the fact that you made the bead too.
I know.
Making it very unique and just your one-of-a-kind design. So that's pretty awesome.
And it's great. It just makes a really cool focal bead. So if you get a little collection of beads on, that you have, and you're like, okay, they're kind of small. I don't have anything to be a focal. You just make one of these, and
you just whip one of these beadies up.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I see Fran says she loves it. She's going to give it a try. And yeah, if you just want to try the beaded bead, you can always just get the mini kit from Joyce at Just Bead It, and she'll have everything in that little kit so you can make these little beaded beads, and it will make one. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So cool. Get a couple of different colors and play and make yourself some focals. All right. So are we going to turn this beaded bead
We're going to
into
turn this one into our sun catcher. We're going to use this vintage bead or crystal that is a clear crystal with just a little bit of the heliotrope coloring on the edge. Here you can see on the back. So you get a little bit of that purple, but you got that see-through in the center. This is actually going to turn into a new colorway that we're going to offer also.
Oh, you don't have this one yet?
No, we were like going to try it out, and we're like, oh, this is coming up really pretty. So this one's probably going to get added on there because I'm liking how it's turning out now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I know we have a lot of purple lovers, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah. Purple's kind of showed up full force for me. I'm a green lover, but purple and green together are fabulous.
They're perfect colors together. I love
them.
They
are.
All right, so I'm going to start my catcher by adding the crystal first. One thing that I like to do with my crystals when I do the ends is actually add a little bit of seed beads on there just to make it because without that, sometimes I make that loop too tight and then the crystal doesn't. Yeah, this just helps it hang nicely.
Good idea.
We're using the.
Before you get started, we just have a question here. Janelle just did her last row, and now she's going to tie her wire. And she said, does she not go back through the big bead?
Correct. You're going to wait to do the knot before you go back through the big bead. You're going to want to make sure, because that way you had the two ends together. If you went through the bead, then your ends would be on opposite side and make it hard to knot. So after you go through the ginkgo, your two ends should be next to each other so you could tie them together. Once you tie the knot, then you take those two ends to poke through the hole and hide it into the hole. Hope that was clear.
Thank you. Thomas says, my 4-year-old loves purple and green. I'm worried he is the Joker. It is the Joker's colors, isn't it?
Yep.
Maybe I have to look at different tones of purple and green, not quite as saturated as the Joker.
Yeah. True. But there is a perfect green for every purple.
There is.
It's kind of like the yellow and turquoise is great together. I mean, there's so many colors.
There's so many color combinations. That's just a world in and of itself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that got the full kit, now you can take your beaded bead and we'll make a sun catcher.
Make our little sun catcher with it. So you're gonna, in your kit, you should have some sterling silver crimp tubes, the awesome ones that we love using, and some bead. We are going to be using crimp covers over them. And you will be using some of those seed beads still, those size 6 seed beads and the size 11 seed beads. But in addition to that, you're going to have some 6mm rounds. I think there's 13 of those. And then these rondelles. And there's 10 of those. Of course, you can do these with any beads that you have too. And our little mermaids. We're going to add our little mermaids to it.
That little mermaid really, well, I would say the beads you put together are just so pretty. So you can do them with other beads, but if you haven't gotten the kit, you really should, because they're just gorgeous. The mermaids and the crystals, and you put together some really lovely colors.
I really don't know which one's my favorite. There's so many. They're so pretty. So, and then I have two mermaids. We're going to put one mermaid on top and one mermaid on bottom. Now, one thing that we decided on here, we decided not to make it like this, the true center with it symmetrical on both sides, because when we did it, it looked a little off. Like it should, you think in cemetery, I mean, symmetry, that it would look better, but it actually kind of felt a little off. So we decided to make it a little like this section has a different bead count than the section that's above the beaded bead. So I'll go over what I did with that. The first thing that
That's interesting, isn't it? You'd think that it would be okay in the center, but I can see how with the mermaid in there, it may just feel like just too close and up too high in a way if it was all the way up in the center.
There was a little bit of that. It was like it looked a little overpowering. It kind of overpowered the crystal. It overpowered the mermaids by being in the exact middle. And then, yeah, it was like, and it just looked a little heavy. It was just funny. We're like, okay, didn't expect that. You never know. Never know.
Another reason why it's great to buy kits is because you've done that part of it. You know, you figured that out for us.
Yeah, we did the hard work for you. Yeah. So I'm adding one crimp bead and then 5 of this size 11 seed beads. You can use other seed beads for this, but I love the delicateness of the 11s. And this is like really the only time in this part that we're using the 11s again. So it's just right here. It's not too bad. I know they're small and sometimes they're intimidating because they're small, but it just makes that loop just nice and sweet and tiny. And then I'm going to go, for whatever reason, like to go through the back. It doesn't matter. Again, it's one of those Joyceisms of my crystals. So I have the Crimp, the 5 seed beads, the crystal, and now we're going to do 5 more seed beads. If you want a little bit larger loop, there is extra beads in here, so you can kind of play around with it. But I found that at least 5 works really well. And I've liked it with a lot more, but any less than 5 on each side, then you're back to kind of making your loop a little too small and it kind of kinks up and it doesn't hang as well. I'm going to just stick my wire back through the crimp, bring it down. Now, if you are, since these are the sterling, and if you'd like using your magical crimper, if you already have one, go ahead, because that would be really pretty just with that. But I wanted to use with this because they're a little bit darker. I kind of wanted to use this gunmetal crimp cover over it. This one's has a little corrugated on it, so I thought it would look really pretty over the bright silver. So that's kind of my choice of why we're doing that. I like to leave a little bit of a gap when I'm doing this with the crystals, because again, if I have to cover it with the crimp cover over, if I get it too tight, it's going to kink up that crystal and it's not going to hang as nicely, which most of the time, if we're putting it in the window or something, it doesn't matter. If you're putting it outside where you might get some breeze, it might matter a little bit more and it'll put a little bit more wear and tear. Or if you're doing it like in a piece for jewelry, then it's going to wear differently. So that's why I kind of like a little bit of a looseness there. And I'm just going to go ahead and crimp that lovely crimp bead with my handy dandy crimpers. And I'm going to put this crimp cover on now. So that I like to get it on in the beginning, because then if I don't, on the other side, if I do it too tight, sometimes there's not enough room for both crimp covers. So I like to get it on as soon as I can. I try to leave the seam kind of on the edge side. And I'm going to use I used my chinos pliers for this. And what's nice about the corrugated ones, not all of ours have corrugated. Most of them are smooth. It kind of just depend on the piece that we did. This corrugated one actually closes up really sweetly around it.
Yeah, it looks like it hides the seam a little bit more because you have those lines built in there. So that's quite a nice little feature.
Yeah, I really, and it just adds a little bit of detail. It covers that line a little bit. You can't really see it as much. If you ding it up a little bit, you can barely tell. It's really beginner friendly as far as crimp covers go.
Yeah, they're not my favorite, but you put that on with such grace. I am very impressed.
Thank you.
I give a lot of those to the bead gods. Those bead gods really get a hold of my crimp covers.
I had to, people, when they first came in, I'm like, I don't know. I wrecked them like crazy. And so I actually just took a piece of Softlex, crimped a whole bunch of crimps and put them on. I didn't do it on a project. And I really practiced it that way. Yes, you have to, like, you're basically sacrificing the bead goddesses there.
But you have to do that. That's what I tell people too about the one of our magical crimper tools, that you really need to practice, and you're better off doing it not on a project.
Because it's stressful if you're doing it on your project.
Yeah, and the repetitive motion, I think you can get it down in a way where you say, oh, okay, when I hold it this way, that's when it really works the best. And I don't think you get that when you're doing a one-off on a project here and there. Whereas when you do that line of practice, you really can hone in on what works best for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all about that. Nobody ever likes it when I tell them that, but when somebody actually comes back from doing it, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like,
it saves you so much heartache in the long run, even though it might be frustrating in the process.
Yeah. So I'm lining up my first part that I'm going to do for the bottom part before the beaded bead. And that is going to start with a size 6 C bead. Oh, thank you, Nelda. I just saw that. I'm glad you. I'll look up every once in a while and see the comments.
I know.
Well, thank you.
You are a great teacher. I am so surprised I did this while we were chatting. I'll have to share mine at the end.
I can't wait to see yours.
I did accidentally put one extra bead on one of the strands. I thought I was having a tension issue, but now that I look at it, it's got one extra bead. That's in the back.
Yeah, no one will know. No one will know. I will not. I won't tell your secret.
Right.
I've had people come in, when we had our shop, they're afraid to show me what they made because they think I'm going to notice their things. And I'm like, unless you hand it to me and ask me where I can improve, I'm not going to notice. I'm going to notice how pretty your beads are. Right.
It's so true.
That's just how it is. All right. So I have lined up here a size 6 C bead, a rondelle, a 6 millimeter, a size 6 C bead, the mermaid, the size 6 C bead. Whoops, good thing I'm checking. Size 6 millimeter round, our size 6 C bead again, 3 rondelles, 1 6 C bead, and 3 rounds. And the last component before our beaded bead is another rondelle.
See, if I would have lined my beads up like you do, I would have noticed maybe that I had one too many in there. So that's a really great way of tackling your, you caught yourself that you were missing one in the process.
Yeah, because I was lining them up, but I was looking, I was talking with you and looking at comments and yeah, forgot
There's
one.
a lot going on. I know. Sarah's saying one great thing about the pandemic is that we all get to see Joyce online rather than you just being able to teach inside your store. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sarah. I know that's our little silver lining too. I know so many people miss going to our store. We miss it, but it's been so fun sharing this with more people and all the wonder, and our new and old friends and making better friendship with some of our old friends even. It's
Right.
been really great.
Cheryl is asking, will you be offering the coolest you are working on? I'm not sure.
Oh, the colorway probably. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
the coolest
Cheryl.
colorway.
Yeah, that autocorrect, I'm sure. Yes,
Right.
this one is going to make it to it. I'm going to probably take a picture after this and pop it onto our Etsy because I'm really loving how this one's turning out. It really showcased the Little Mermaid great, and that yellow goldy color with the purple is pretty.
Such a pretty, like lavender colored mermaid. I really like her.
Mm-hmm. And then what's nice is all you have to do, this just goes right on through. It doesn't matter which side you're coming out, if it's your side with the knot or if you're on the reverse, but you just go right up through it. Easy peasy. And that rondelle just covers all those little
All those little spaces up.
wires, so you don't have to worry about it. All you need is like a little bead like that. Doesn't have to be too big. So on the next side of this, we are going to do 3 rondelles, a size 6, another mermaid, a size 6, and then we're going to totally change it up and put 5. I do things in 3s and 5s. If you start doing any of my patterns, you're going to notice a lot of 3s and 5s. 5 of the rounds.
3s and 5s are good numbers. They're pleasing.
Mm-hmm. Another round, a rondelle, a round. Oh, I'm going to have to curve this little pattern here.
Now, did this one, do they all have 2 mermaids in them?
Yes, they all have 2 mermaids.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they all have 2 mermaids.
I didn't notice that. I thought it was just the one.
Yep. Well, sisters.
Sisters, of course. Joyce and April.
Gotta have some.
Or beading friends,
Yes, or beading friends. Yeah. And
that
then,
just made me think of what a sweet gift that would be for a friend,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have 3 round.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say you could do 2 colorways and say, I'm the purple one, you're this one.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cute.
Yeah. You need to buy 2 kits. You have to buy 2 sun catcher kits.
Exactly. And then you just swap 1 mermaid and you got one of each of you on there. That'd be so cute. I love it.
Really cute.
And I'm just popping these beads on. It's my 3 rondelles, my size 6, my mermaid. Of course, we're going from the tail up through the head on our mermaids because we're working from the bottom up. I have a tendency to work from the bottom up when I'm making things like this, like stringing things like for the window or ornaments and stuff like that, because whatever reason it works for my brain better that way.
The dangle at the bottom is a nice anchor to then go up from there.
Yeah. Okay, 5 rounds.
I love that you showed us a different colorway too, just to change it up.
Just to change it up. Yeah, we have a tendency to do that for our Saturdays. We just more recently started doing that, and it's been really fun because, we'll do up a whole new one just for that day, and it feels special.
It
Love
does. You got to tune in live to see what color is going to be
What
debuted.
color?
And you said it was Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific
2
time?
p.m. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So make sure to follow Just Beaded on Facebook so that you are there. And I don't know that too many people go on Saturday, so that's a nice time.
Yeah, we found it to be kind of nice. There's a few, but not many, and of course, because it's on Facebook, it is available to watch replay. We let it be available to replay afterwards. So if you miss it, it's okay. Because I know sometimes now that things,
Are
it's
opening up a
summer
little.
weather and
Yeah.
you want to do your gardening or be outside. Sometimes that 2 o'clock is like right in the middle of the day. It's kind of hard, but it,
But then it's there for you at any time to come back and check it out.
Absolutely.
So Just Beaded is saying they'll have the new colorway up in our shop soon and a promo code. So how do they find out about the promo code? Is that going to be on the front of the Etsy shop? Oh, we got it here.
Right there. SFCAW, Softflex Customer Appreciation Week 2021 will give you 20% off, and it'll be good until August 4th, next Wednesday.
Oh, thank you. That is so sweet of you to have a nice promo code for everybody here for Customer Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
And then the shot for new colors and more beaded beads.
Exactly. I'm going to look and see what other colors we can maybe do, but we've also added some of our favorite Softflex projects that we've done this year, like our Choose Your Own Adventure. We have like 6 colors
I love
in
that
this
bracelet.
one. And then our slanted ladder. We've done we have a few colors in this.
Oh,
and then that one's, just a cross weave, but it looks crazy intricate because it looks like, how do you do the 3-2? But it's really super simple. And there's a video. It comes with the instructions, but there's also the video on Facebook. So if you need a video to watch along, it's there. And then remember when we did the braided bliss with you? We're actually coming up with a new colorway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful colorway.
Yeah. So stay tuned. That's going to go up there too. And
that's a great one too, with the braided wire in that bracelet.
Mm-hmm. So that's so we have our Etsy that you've linked in there. We have our website. Both of these, this is like, so we're going to have 3 ways to buy from us once the new website is coming up. The Etsy and the website, pretty much the same thing. If you're familiar with Etsy and really comfortable with Etsy, you could just go there. If you like working on doing a website, you could just go to our website. They're on there also. We do like our kits from our classes on Saturdays with that. We do special bead collections, like we are doing a photo contest with mermaids with our mermaid collection, or any mermaid inspired items.
Mermaid collection. Oh, we'll have to check that out.
Mermaid collection that has some of these, has 2 of these little these gals in there with some sea life items and whatnots. It's really fun and so we do little like like personalized, I say, but it's not really. It's we're hand curated collections.
Yes, perfect.
On there. So that's where you would get like that kind of stuff from us. And then, like I said, we have the new one where if you really just want to do some more beaded beads and want a larger selection of ginkgos, or if you want or fire polish or size the Toho sea beads that we're using today, that's where you would be able to do that. And again, this one's not launched quite yet. We're really close.
Really
so stay
close.
tuned.
So just sort
really
of
close, like in the next, might be hours, it might be a day. That close.
We are, we do have a question. Someone is asking, is the code for Etsy or the website?
All
Or
of them.
So it could be for either one that you're on. You can use the code. And
on any of them. Yep.
okay, great. And then Just Beaded is also saying, don't worry if you already placed an order during this live, we'll add in the promo code and take care of you. Oh, very sweet. Thank you.
Yes, I think we probably know. Oh, my sister, that's my sister, April. If she noticed that you placed it during this time, she knows that you're
watching and
left off.
it's gonna give you that discount on there. Perfect.
So I'm just going to go back through my crimp here, and if you want to, you can go back through some of the beads. I actually am just going to go through the crimp because, as we know, these sterling crimps are fantastic, and the crimper's fantastic, and they just fold up really nice on this medium. You can make your loop whatever size. Sometimes I make them small, sometimes I make them big, extra loopy. I don't like to get this super tight. Like if I pull this too tightly and have the crimp really, it's not going, if I want more movement in it for like being like outdoors, I mean, I wouldn't have it like directly outdoors in a lot of weather, but on a porch where it doesn't get a whole lot of weather, it would look really nice, and you might want it to sway a little bit and have some movement. So I like to have a little bit of a give, and I'm okay with it like showing a gap. This one doesn't.
Yeah, that's good practice anytime you're crimping, whether it's jewelry or a sun catcher. It needs to move, otherwise it'll just kind of start to wear down, and then that's where you might have an issue when it's just a little too stiff.
Yeah, and that's really, and your product is made to move and be flexible, so you want it to just be flexible. So I'm going to crimp that.
Plus, if it is swaying in the wind, you want it to pick up that light and sway really gracefully. And, if it's too tight, it'll just be kind of clunky looking.
Exactly. Get that on there. I tend to like to cut my tail after the crimp cover. It just makes it easier for me to hold on to everything if I get it in there. And I squeeze gently from the outside, and then I try to kind of go around gently. That's one thing I didn't say on the first one, but and again, these corrugated ones go so much easier, so they get kind of whipped close together like that with no problem. But the smoother ones, you just really do want to kind of go a little at a time and just kind of ease it into place, because if they're not crimps, you don't want to smush them like crimps.
Yeah, you want to
just ease them in.
And I will say, I noticed the way you were holding it, since I do struggle with crimp covers myself, and it looked like she was holding it with the finger behind, and then your thumb was sort of keeping it in place. So it was nice and steady in your hand.
Yes, you do. That is a key thing, is making sure that it's steady in your hand while you're doing it, because if it's not, it's going to like roll and have problems.
And then you're going to want to squeeze it real hard, real quick, because you're getting frustrated.
Yes. And then you squish it, and it's like, oh.
Not that I'm speaking from experience.
No. None of us have done that ever. It's always perfection on the show.
Yeah, sure.
And I got mine done. I'm excited about this new one.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, show us all the colors again.
Okay, so we have that. Let's bring this up again.
Sarah says the angry beater rears her head. Yeah, many years ago when I first started beading, my husband dubbed me like the angry beater, and he would ask me, why are you doing this if it makes you so mad? Because I was so clumsy, but it was really bead stoppers that saved my beading life, because that was my biggest problem. Is I would do all of this work, and then you go to hold it up and just see how it drapes, or put it on your neck, and it would all fall to pieces, and I would just be like, ah!
Yeah, bead stoppers are game changers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had the
Such
same
an angry
thing.
beater.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, because it makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd always be like, why do you do this? But then, once bead stoppers came around, that really alleviated a lot of my frustration. I haven't conquered crimp covers 100% yet, but
I'm gonna get you some of those
now.
corrugated ones so that you could try
I'm
those
gonna have
out,
to
and you
use your
might.
tips.
Yeah. So this is our aqua violet. This one has a blue wash on the mermaid.
Oh, that's beautiful. It really helps bring out the details.
Yeah. And with that's the beaded bead for that one. And then we have the gold one, which is really pretty. It has the seashell in the golden shadow. And then this mermaid is gold with a little bit of AB that you can get on some of the angles. It's not showing right. I could see it in real life, but it's not showing on the camera.
Picking up on the camera. I love that bottom bead on this one, that seashell shape.
I know. That is just so gorgeous, isn't it?
So pretty.
Yeah, we have a few of these ones left.
That's a great holiday one too, color-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to have something that kind of like would be a little bit neutral-ish and still kind of give that mermaid vibe, because it sometimes is hard to get colors for people. Especially, this is like, I call this one the princess one. It just looks like a gem that you.
It does. So pretty. They're all so pretty, and they have their own little personality.
Yeah. See this one? Okay, so this is where we forgot beads in there, and that's why it's wonky. So it's not anything other than we forgot beads. So don't look at that side. On this side, you can't tell.
Yeah, that'll be like my bead. I'll show you. Can't look at that side.
Don't look at that side. I'm always the worst, because like I have to point it out. Why do I have to point it out?
Nobody would be, we'd be none the wiser.
Then of course the one I did today. And then these awesome, our little kelp forest, our teal, and our black silver beaded beads.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So pretty. I love all the colors. You did a wonderful job putting them all together.
Thank you.
And Becky says, I did that once when I made a Claddagh necklace, Kristen. Just once? I am really impressed, because I probably don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many times I've done this and just dropped it all over. And I still, to this day, will drop stuff on my lap when I'm beading, and I just go, why am I not beading over the table? I pull back away from the table, and then it goes on my lap. I don't know.
Absolutely. I same. I mean, I've been doing it, gosh, I got to do it on my
we know
20-something years. So, 25.
So almost 30 years. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And I still drop it. Whatever.
All right. Well, I'm going to show you all what I made.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to switch my
while we were chatting. So I didn't have Joyce's beautiful beaded bead kit, but I wanted to give the process a try. So I have this sort of wooden turquoise bead. And I use this there. I always the camera this way. I have little super duos at the top and on the bottom, and then I have some small beads from our Be Kind kit going around. But yeah, I'll show you. I have one strand right on this one side here that is just peeking out more than the others because it's got 5 beads instead of 4.
Well, okay, probably when I was talking about things in fives, threes and
Yeah,
fives, you're like,
maybe.
yeah, let's
I
add
don't
that
know. I
extra
was
one.
just probably not paying attention. But what a great process.
Oh,
And I
I
can't
love
believe
it.
I
That turned out
did
great.
it. It turned out really cute. The knotting was really easy to understand and pulling it through the bead. And yeah, thank you. My first
You're
beaded bead.
welcome. Yeah,
Joyce is a great teacher.
thank you.
You really are. Too
Thank you.
cute.
Oh, I'm
Terry
so glad.
Terry learned the same beading techniques as me. Dropping them all over your lap, Terry. Oh,
You're not a true beater unless you do, I think.
it's so true. Yeah. You know, my the bead gods, my vacuum, they've all had so many gifts, so many offerings. So I'm just going to share with you all again. Go visit them at justbeaditconcord.com and go find Joyce at Etsy at Just Bead It Concord on
Conquer.
Etsy.
All one word. Mm-hmm.
All one word. And then keep your eye out for the new website, jbibeads.com. Any day now, they will be launching that, and they'll have all sorts of new beads to show. And if you were purchasing during the live presentation, you'll get that discount. I think, let me scroll back and see where that was. 20% off your total purchase until August 4th using promo code SFCAW 2021. So that's Softlex Customer Appreciation Week 2021. It can be used at checkout at justbeaditconcord.com or the Etsy shop. Either one, it'll work. And if you have any difficulties, I'm sure you can just send a message over to April and Joyce, and they will take care of you and get that worked out.
Absolutely.
Still have kits left. You can get some beaded beads. You can get some sun catchers, and you have a brand new color coming today at some point that we did here live. So lots and lots of fun. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody before we go, Joyce?
I'm sure there's something that my sister's going, why didn't you do that? But I don't know. I had so much fun. But I am so excited for being part of. Oh, this was the other one. This is one of the other ones that are up there that we just did with the Softlex with the
beautiful.
Yeah.
So does that match the bracelet colors?
It doesn't. You know what's so funny is they don't match, but they match. You know,
but
like
and they're further enough away.
Yeah, I'm like, I could still wear them and I'm fine. But yeah, and occasionally we do kind of like match them. But yeah, they're very similar colors. Very similar.
Barb is saying Saturday project. Did you want to discuss the Saturday project?
Thank you, Barb. Well,
thanks, Barb.
Where is ours? We're actually it's a non-Softlex one this time. It is a bead weaving. We are going to do a Christmas ornament. It's Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. You just squeaking it in there by the end of the month.
Squeaking it in. And I know it's like right here. I'm like, where is my sample? Apparently I did not.
You guys are just gonna have to wait and see. So
I'm sure.
Just Bead It.
Yes. It's a netted ornament, and it's just really sweet. It has little daggers at the bottom, and fun.
Oh yeah, we were just doing daggers yesterday with Kay, and I think we might have some daggers coming up again. So it'll be great to see another use for those wonderful.
It's fun with the daggers. Yeah.
This was such a blast. Thank you, Joyce, Kristen, Softlex, and Customer Appreciation Week. We agree. It was really a lot of fun. Thank you for just such a wonderful project, being such a great teacher, and joining us here and being such a wonderful supporter of Softlex Company and Softlex Wire for so long. We really, really appreciate it and are so happy to have been able to bring you onto this presentation and share you with our customers. It's just been.
I am so thankful. I mean, like I said, we've been, since our shop opened, I used it before the shop, but since this, and we love it. We always encourage it, and so fun to be part of this. We
will definitely do it again. So stay tuned for another live with Joyce sometime in the future.
I love that. that so much.
Yes. Sarah says, we love you in April. We so appreciate you both.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
true.
Oh, we did get our mugs.
Oh, you got, yes, I totally forgot.
Yeah, ours
You
came
got
a
your
little.
mug.
Yeah.
Look, there's choice.
I love it.
So I always hold it in the wrong way. So before we go, you can pre-order your Customer Appreciation Week commemorative mug over at softflexcompany.com. We're going to be filling it with some goodies and coupons.
We have
and
some stuff to put in there.
Yep. So we're accepting some pre-orders through Friday. So you have to get your order in by Friday. And then this way we can contact all the presenters and gather up all your goodies, make your mugs, and send them out to you. Really fun. It's got everybody's face in there so you can bead along with all of your friends here from Softflex Customer Appreciation Week. And it says, beads are the seeds of inspiration. Friends help grow the garden. So thank you all for being here, and have a wonderful rest of the week. I will see you again at 4:30 Pacific time with Sarah later tonight to open up our newest kit for Kit Day. And then Sarah will be on here in just a half hour, 2:30 Pacific time with Mirix Looms for another spectacular project. So stay tuned. We will see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.